Hey, what's going on, Seketh? Let me grab my laptop charger. Pull up the chat here. Cool. I got chat pulled up now. Okay. We should be chilling. Okay. What's going on, Seketh? How's it going? Let's get the music back going here. Okay. What up, everybody? Hope you're having a good day today. Late night stream today. Kind of had to be quiet. I'm in an Airbnb. Don't want to upset the owners of the place. I think we share a wall. It's kind of like an ADU or whatever, attached dwelling unit or something. Pretty nice place. But yeah, so I'm in an Airbnb for the next month as I transition jobs. If you're in my Discord, you probably got the announcement, but your boy got a new job. So I'll do more of an official announcement when I can talk a little louder, I guess. But yeah, we got a new job, not as a programmer. We got a new job within our current field, kind of a lateral move into a different type, a similar realm within the company, my same company, internal move. Going from chemistry, biology and chemistry to more strictly biology and microbiology. And instrumentation, so we'll see how it goes. It should be a cool new role. I mean, it's gonna be a good transition to a new city, which will be nice for cost of living, for sure. And me and my lady friend will be together for finally. We're getting rid of the long distance here, so feels good. Things are looking up for us in 2026. Sorry. But I'm not giving up on potentially being a dev. So, I'm just making moves within my current situation until, I get better at my skills and can be better at, maybe being an actual software engineer potentially or whatever. But I will say, I won't lie though, that my projects were my coding projects that I implemented for my work, apart from my actual, primary responsibilities as a chemist, those were brought up primarily in my interviews and were a huge edge in getting me this role in a very competitive market. So, the programming grind that we did and have been doing was not in vain. It was very successful in my opinion because it did aid in that job, right? Um, Now it's not. I think we'll do some programming in this current job. It's kind of like instrumentation, maybe statistical tracking of microbiology instrumentations and implementations and things like that, and optimizing, which could be more fun. So we'll see how much coding I'll be able to implement at this job apart from the actual primary like microbiology responsibilities. But yeah, it'll be fun. We'll keep you guys updated. But anywho, um, I've got to be pretty quiet here. I'm not trying to talk too loud. I don't want to. I'm in an Airbnb. I want to make sure. Let me because I can't talk too loud. Let me go ahead and just turn up this bad boy. Like that, so I can kind of let's just amplify it a little bit. What's going on, 91 D Gross? Appreciate you being here. All right, what's going on, everybody? So, over this weekend, I did code off stream a little bit. I optimized our program quite heavily. As you guys can see, we no longer have a poly user class within my classes here. I've kind of started to take a different approach to the typical way I set up projects. I don't, it's been really good getting that object-oriented approach with like custom classes and stuff, but for like database work, front-end, back-end work, it kind of adds a layer of like complexity to it that's not really necessary. Like we don't need to be mapping all of our data to classes and then taking those classes and mapping them to validation classes, and it doesn't really make sense. So what we can do is I have been using, like everybody else, dude, I've been not I haven't been using any code, but I've been mainly just going through getting some like general help on stuff in terms of like how to get started on certain things and like implement them with words, with certain snippets, right? And then I've been writing the code myself, which I think is a great way to keep reinforcing your learning and, understand your projects better. As you can see, it's a lot of text. It's a lot of understanding rather than code, and then I'll go write the code. So what I did is we now have this models folder, which has our poly user model. So we're using a Pydantic to do our data validation for us. So all I had to do was just take all of our self instance variables that I had in that original poly user class and just make them type defined under this nested class here or whatever, right? Or this inherited base model. That was pretty simple. And then I just overrode the stir method with what I had previously. And so now what happens is this kind of validates for us the typing of these variables, so that when we read them, we can sync them to the database pretty easily. Now, what I did with the functions that are usually tied to the class is we now have this services folder. And this services directory, I just took all of our functions and just plugged them into here. I did have to shift around a little bit of the logic with things. It did take me a few hours to kind of work through all of the refactor, but we were able to do it, and I think it worked out quite well here. And then I got some information on async IO. So I was doing some research on why our programming was taking too long. So right, we had a couple of queries. We had so if we had our start, right, this is our start. We would first go, and then we would hit this initial block here. And then this block would be the API to basic. Let me pull out my hopefully it's not dead. There we go. Like basic, oh gosh. No, whatever. Basic info, right? We would hit this API call, and then we would have to then get through that wall. Then we would call an API, because it doesn't, the thing about Polymarket is their APIs kind of are a little bit more, they don't give you all of the information, like in terms of one package. You kind of have to call a few of them from what I'm seeing. Now maybe I'm just not, I'm not reading the docs as appropriate, but yeah, maybe I need to do some better research into it. But then we would hit another API for like the positions, right? Oh my gosh, whatever. You guys get the point. And so this sequential kind of movement was pretty bad. So what I did was implemented this async IO HTTPX package kind of pairing. And so you have this client, which is just this HTTPX async client object. And you can feed that client, which is just acts as the kind of like a overall manager of all of your calls, right? It kind of, they all have to be synced up together. And so this client, you kind of use that to sync them up, I believe was from my understanding. And so we just turned our functions into async functions. And then we have a utilities folder with API, which is some general utility functions. And so we just rewrote this get URL, which is get URL async rather, and just included the client into there. And so now our client will get the URL and we await that response. And so what happens is then we're awaiting the calls here, and we're awaiting the next calls to this one as we're gathering the win-loss objects and the trades. And then we're just kind of putting it all together. Same thing here. We have the client with an async function for the get wins losses. So now what happens is then the calls are much faster in general. Let me see here. I think it's doesn't like when I kind of do that sometimes to like move the whatever. See, it's much faster. We are able to get all that information about the user in sometimes 3 seconds, sometimes a second and a half, sometimes less than a second. It kind of varies. In 1.63 seconds on that one. So like, I'm running a certain time on the actual call to the start and then to the run of the user's build. So there is a little bit of delay from all the imports, I think, that happen. 91 gross says the first program stuff's long game. Keep at it. Keep making projects and keep looking for junior roles in fields like engineering. Nice. Yeah, I've got to get better at maybe AI stuff. I haven't even touched that realm yet. Cheers, bros. How to make a big gulp run. You guys know what it is. You guys know how it is. Okay, so right now I'm researching Docker and potentially setting up a database for this. But what I also could do, I guess, maybe I'm gonna do this really quick actually. Let's go here and actually open up the Polymarket API. Okay. Let's go to the overview. Let's go to API reference. Let's go to the total value for users' positions. So we have get number trades. This takes in this API, which is slash traded. This is slash closed positions. And this is just public profile. It's so annoying. Let me do this really quick. Why does Polymarket APIs have such abstraction in terms of a single API for a single data point, like total value of user positions, when it could be included in the user's profile information. It's intentional. It's usually the right call. On platforms like Polymarket, it was designed around separation of concerns, not convenience. Different data equals differences in user profile. So they maybe grouped like data points of similar compute capacity together and likeness. Because I have to ping the slash value endpoint. I had this thing for the total val, but the feels like inefficient to hit this 2 endpoints just to render one page, but now zoom out. If you bundled them, every position would not trigger a profile evaluation. Your building says, okay. Cheers, man. Dude, AI engineering roles are opening up a lot next to ML engineering and much easier than ML. Kind of like new web dev of software engineering dev is how I think of them. I know, like, do you have any, like, maybe resources that kind of ease you into that realm of, like more formal stuff, I guess? Maybe, like, classes or things like that? Yeah, Martin, it seems like they all have some pretty strict, maybe, like, educational requirements. Yeah, what's going on, YouTube account haver? Hey, what's going on, Milky? I'm learning Python. Do you guys have any advice? Yeah, dude, I have a Discord with all my resources for free, link down below. Check out all the videos on my channel, too. Like hundreds of Python videos. Good chats, y'all. Good chats. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and write a function here. Async def get total value given an address, which will be a type string client, right? Which is just going to be HTTPX. Let's just zoom in here for you guys. Dot async client. This is going to return back a float. Okay, so we're going to get URL is going to be a string. We're going to take in this URL here. I think we do this. Question for user equals to, and then we're going to do the address here. Make this an f string. And then we can just do a return object equal to await what we get. URL async for the URL here, and the client. Let's do the client. And then what we can do is just return. Go try. We'll do this for float or none, and then we'll go. And we'll go. Equals to get quote else none, and then we're going to return the result. Okay, so let me go here. Let me do this. We want to do oh, but it was my polywhirl. That's for build users. Okay, I guess I'm just going to do it temporarily, just for testing. So import, no, we're going to do, sorry, where were we? It's in our services. Stop. Get total value. Print get total value of the address. And then do I need to call the client in the actual call? Yeah, with an ace. Okay, yeah. Is that even? Okay. This has to be within a function though to do this though. So let me just do this, I guess. But this has to be within a function. Yeah, I don't know. I just want to try it to print to see if it works. We need the client, that's why I'm trying to do it. Dang it. I just want to see this line here. Oh, okay, I just need a main function. It's async def on main as well. Let me say, do you do the if name? The async io.run.main, okay. That's right, I'm still trying to learn this async package. Like that. But you call it as a function. Okay. And then you call it async with the with constructor and then await the value. Like this. List object, no attribute yet. Okay. So this returns a list of. Okay, got you. So we need to go back to our services and take this and go like this. Try and do get response index of 0 dot get of this except for a index error. Then we're going to return none. I guess I'll print here just a debug. Okay, and then let's try it. All right, there it is. Cool. So, where was it? 13.9. Okay, let's bring back our homie here. What happens? Can you run this? Can you do this like twice in there? I don't think. We want to go like this. And then run main. How would you do this? how would you call a run of a kind of a subroutine? Yeah, now you're trying to start another event loop inside an active one. If you build users as async, which it should be, just await it. Oh, gotcha. So you don't want to run this, make another event loop. You just await this current process, and then we can just run that. There you go. And then it should hit the other endpoints as well. Okay, cool. So now if we go to our homies page here, 13.9, that's lining up perfectly with our value right there. What's going on, Martin? 2 a.m. gang. Cali gang. Yep, what's going on, Slow? You and me, boy. Quiz in 5 hours. What's your quiz on, Martin? That's tough, bro. Martin, Michael, you may have not noticed, but you've gotten really good at programming from when I first started watching. I'm working with people that's been learning for twice as long and not a quarter as far. That's really kind, dude. You're making me blush. That's actually really nice, because it's honestly really nice when you guys give me that feedback about like my skill level, because like I really don't know. I don't have like peers in the space, like coworkers or colleagues or students, like colleagues to like compare or like to know like where I'm leveling at. So because I'm just completely solo here, so with the chat obviously. So some people have been like telling me, oh, you're like about like a decent like sophomore level in college, like kind of a more of a higher sophomore level in terms of like knowledge, but like maybe my coding skill might be a little bit better than some sophomores, but knowledge I don't think is that deep. So definitely gotta get better at that. Web security? Oh dang. Okay. Cool. So now what we're gonna do is let's just go ahead and remove this. And then what we're going to do is go into our users or our poly URL. Okay. This goes build user. Let's go to our build user class. Okay, so then what we'll do is implement the get total value function. Here. So now we run this. Yes. Oh, plus. Let's go. You guys are liking the stream, hit a thumbs up. Late night stream vibes. Okay. Oh, this is position value. This is profit loss all time. So then if the profit loss is what we're calculating, right? So we just need his open profit loss, which is definitely slightly positive. By a few thousand, maybe? I think 4,000, that might be a little high. Always got more active. Okay. So we definitely need to go over the open positions as our next task here. So let's go ahead and push this up though. Add get total valued. Okay. Let's go ahead and add in a new function here. Async def get open sessions. Client, which is HTTP client. Get all. Okay. I need a URL, which is a string. Let's try to find it here. I guess it's similar to this function here. This will be positions. Is this open? Current closing. Yeah, this has got to be the open positions. There's 100 limit on this one. Okay. So we get a response based on these parameters. If not response, extend all positions list with the response list if the length of the response is less than the limit. You break, because we're at the end. Yeah, we set the offset to increase to the limit. Okay, that's it. Okay, that makes sense. Move return all position. That should probably work. Okay. So then what I'll do is then here's the opens. Open position. So I had a placeholder for it here. So now let's try that. Address and client. Oh. Okay, then we need to async await that. Let's try it. What's the address? Parcel failed. User not provided. Bull crap. Why isn't this? There, 400. Get this. This is my whole function. That's probably why. What is the request then? That's so strange. How do you... It's from the docs. Really? You couldn't... It's just the sort by? Oh, that's crazy. That's all it was. Okay, so the API is pretty picky then. Then with the closed positions, it was only 50. But 10. I just send sort by timestamp. Close positions. I do realize P&O. Because it's probably what it's already as, so it might be a little bit faster. Okay, so those are all the open positions. Cool. So now what we can do is this. Okay, that'll take care of that. Yep, and not open positions. Perfect. I already made a note right there. That's crazy. Now we have, okay, cool. Okay. So right now, Polywhirl. Balance. URL trades. Okay, this is the number of trades, close positions number, average contracts per close position. Okay. Open positions and int. Positions. Open positions, unrealized PN. Okay, so then why user services? Okay, so we have open positions here. Okay, we're gonna set okay, we set the open positions equal to the length of the open positions. Okay, so now if we run this, what? Failed to build user? Really?
You're hitting this exception on this address. Yeah, that should work. What's it printing? Oh. It's trying to do this. When's lost object open P&L? Why am I trying to poly? Oh, get there. That's fine. Then we have to add in the open. Okay, I think that'll work now. Yeah, there we go. So he should have a total of unresolved predictions. Open positions. $101. So why would they have more open positions or less than unresolved predictions? Oh, because they closed the position next to us. No, that's a different value. I was thinking that this number had to be the same as this number, but that's not true.
the unresolved predictions, that's prediction like he's made that have not closed yet, but he has closed his position maybe potentially, right? Whereas this means these are positions that are just left open on predictions that could be open, right? Okay, so I'm gonna take this. I originally thought that this. Open positions do not have equal unresolved predictions. Perfect. Hey, Ivan. Thanks so much for the comment, Ivan. Appreciate you so much. Hearts in chat for Ivan. Spamming hearts for Ivan. Spamming you hearts. Says, good luck with the job soon. I will make similar experiment with Polymarket. I'm self-taught too. It's my hobby to build. Do you have some framework to start a project from scratch? No, I have kind of created my own kind of, I guess, I don't know. I really don't know if it's correct or appropriate or, I don't know. I just kind of have created a way. I usually start out by creating custom objects. And then just this project, I recently started to expand out into Pydantic. So taking my typical pretty robust classes that have like a lot of nested functions and methods and like all that, kind of abstracting those away into like different models or like different like modules like services and whatnot, and then having it interact with the model via like the overarching like engine class, if that makes any sense. So like Polyworld does that has a function called build users, right? And the build users function is a function within the poly user services, which is a file named strategically to tie to the poly user model. So rather than having like a bunch of functions tied in within this class. I kind of abstracted this time to this kind of services, and then kind of a utilities folder for just like general utility functions that don't have any ties to like an object. I don't know. It's kind of new. Sorry, I'm in an Airbnb. I'm trying not to be too loud. Sorry. Okay. So what do we have now? That was slow. That one was fast. Okay. Balance. Can we need to round the balance? Let's do that really quick. Okay, let's try that. Why would we do that? Why would it do that? Why would it? Oh no, I guess. Sorry. Hmm. Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh. Okay, that's fine. Hey, thanks so much for the subscribe. Appreciate. Sorry, whoever that was. I don't have my second monitor today. I can't see the announcements. Okay. So now we have. That's appropriate. We need to probably reformat this, but it's fine. Okay, now we need to go through and get all of the unrealized, of each position. Okay, so let's go to our services here. What the heck is going on? Now we're gonna do close position size. Oh, position size. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna do this. The position size sum plus equals to bar. Pretty sure is what's gonna be. Yeah, total bot. Has realized P&L, even though it's unrealized technically. Cash P&L. Okay, let's look at an example. So for this one, he's down this with a realized P&L of 5.2. Let's break this down. Oh, maybe they closed some already. So total bought was 14,921.82. So this is what he initially bought them for, and this is what they're initially the current values for. This is the size. But he bought. So is total bought of contracts. Total bought, total number of contracts, better purchase over time for this outcome. Alright, currently still open. I was spending hours in your situation, so I understand it's a pretty cool hobby, though. Good luck. Yeah, dude. Thanks for coming in, man. Sometimes save time with ready framework, but when you start from scratch, you can use your imagination. Yeah. I kind of like to have, like, the freedom of imagination. Control F and Control D. Replacing values. Contract still holds exposure to the live market. Oh, yeah. Closed contract was total buyers. So we need the current cash P&L. Okay. That makes sense. So the
Okay, the total bot. So then what we're going to do is the cash piano. I don't get it. Why is it's profitable on this one? Will Solana dip? What order did I query these in? I think it's decreasing by size.
Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, I think I get it. So what happens is he has some realized gain on closed. Mm. A position. Okay, so mm, partial closure of that position. Not fully closed until there are more contracts. Position is a prediction the user has interacted with. Sell contracts. Okay, so then here, your open positions. Open positions. Unrealized P&L. So then I think we need to go to realized P&L. And then you have the realized P&L. There's no 25,000. Doesn't make any sense. Total position value is 13.9. Why are they getting 13.9? Mm. Mm.
So valuable as they realize piano. Mm. All right, you guys. I think I'm gonna call it here. Appreciate you guys being here and hanging out with me today. This was a good one. Just kind of going through Polymarket stuff and adding features. Thanks so much for 4,600 subs. Appreciate you guys being here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.